you like to create and give life to interesting characters and the vast worlds they live in? How would you like to work with a team of awesome and dedicated people to create the magic you see today in movies, television, video games? How would you like to work long, hard hours to tell a story that may not only entertain people, but could also touch their hearts and have a real impact on their lives? Today's guest will talk today about his interest in the world of animation as he follows the path he has chosen to become an animation director in an industry built by some of the most influential people in animation, such as John Lasseter, Chuck Jones, and of course Walt Disney. The Humanities Mass Communications Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now join our host, Caitlin Cleary, to meet the next director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you'll meet on this show are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student has written and directed 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they've created, and give you the chance to get to know them and enjoy some of the work they've done during the semester. Our guest today is an aspiring animation director who has been studying animation, practicing the craft, and now does a bit of teaching about it in the animation club he has started here at NCC. We would like you to meet today's guest, Tyler Frederick.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. So, all this animation work, tell us, how did you get into animation and why are you so passionate about it?
When I was growing up, I grew up as some other kids did, watching movies, playing video games, and drawing a lot. But I didn't really think as animation of a serious thing that I can get into. It wasn't until high school when they had animation courses that I could take. So I took a couple courses and then I loved it. It was great. So after graduating, I went on to study in college for almost 3 years before coming to NCC. I'm still practicing here at NCC, but the thing is NCC doesn't have any animation courses. So I'm doing it on my own. And then I met people here who want to do animation, want to go to colleges after here to pursue animation, but have never animated in their lives. So that's why I created the NCC Animation Club, so I can somewhat teach them what they're getting themselves into and also see if they really want to do this before they go and
give them a little taste.
Before they go ahead and spend so much money to do this sort of thing. So that's why I started it, and then now that's what I'm doing today. And then I've brought some work from my high school years up till now, so let's take a look at it and then I'll describe what I'm showing you.
All right, yeah, walk me through it.
So here we have some work from my high school days. Oh my God, it's so terrible.
Hey, it looks pretty cool to me.
Was one of the first things I've done, and then this was actually the final for my course. We had to write a haiku and then make an animation based off that haiku. So.
Very interesting. Well, you know, everyone's got to start somewhere. Where did you take, what high school did you go to?
AIT in Stanford.
Oh, no wonder.
Technical high school.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to have that sort of exposure at such an early age, so you kind of got that, you know, toe in the water.
Oh, yeah. And then coming up here, I've got clips from the college days when I went to pursue animation before I came here, of course.
Okay.
You see better usage of studying motion and practically animating them so they have more life to them and they don't feel too weird as my high school days. Very rough, but just practicing.
Yeah, there's still a story there. You can see where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting stuff. Like, I have no idea how this stuff is created.
Oh, it's definitely long, hard hours of work. But everything you see I've drawn by hand, so it was interesting.
Oh, cool. Huh. So you draw it and then you actualize it in a computer?
Oh, yeah. And then you draw on the computer sometimes, too.
Oh.
And then this is from me starting off working with 3D. This is actually the first thing I made in 3D, which I'm leaning more towards than 2D stuff, because with 2D you have to draw things over and over and over again, whereas 3D, it's already in the program and you're just moving it. So it's nice. And then here's my character doing what I want to be doing right now, playing video games.
And succeeding, as it looks like.
Oh yeah, and he'd just be chilling right now. So that's been the journey so far. And as far as why I'm so passionate about it is because two reasons. When you're working on a team with other awesome people, you get to meet so many new people. Even if you don't work with them, you go to events, you meet other animators, and then they're just so enthusiastic, so great. And that's how I feel with most things in the art world, that you meet other people and you just have this connection. And that's what I feel with other animators and visual effects artists and things like that. And then that leads into my next thing, is where animation, I feel, is definitely one of the greatest forms of visual storytelling there is. And then other than, of course, live action, with live action you have so many constraints. You've got weather, you've got actors, you got to keep them happy, and then a whole bunch of other things. But with animation, you create the actors. It doesn't matter what time of day it is, because you create what time of day it is, and you don't have to work on a set schedule as far as daytime, nighttime, and things like that. You create everything. So as far as like the director's vision, you can definitely come closer to portraying what they see, and then make things that audiences will, in the end, love. And then the feeling of seeing something that you've worked so hard on, and then you see other people entertained and enjoying and making them feel something. It's one of the best things ever. That's why I feel so passionate about this subject.
Yeah, it's really great to just build something from the ground up, totally from your what you created in your own mind. So can you tell us why you decided to take the TV production courses here at NCC?
Yeah. Before I took the course, I've had no prior experience with any live action camera operating whatsoever. I've had experience in other things related to it, like scripting and storyboarding, things that we do in animation too. But I don't know how to operate cameras or edit. So when I came into the courses, I was hoping to learn composition, how to tell stories better visually that are good and are good to watch and have some continuity to it, and then how to edit, and then lighting, how that's important. So that's why I expected to learn when I came into this course, and that's why I got here.
All right, so speaking of some of the things you've learned, what have you learned specifically in this course?
I've learned everything that I wanted to learn and more. So I learned the guidelines to composition, I learned lighting, very rudimentary, but I learned enough lighting that I feel comfortable with it and I can pursue more of it. And then editing in Avid, which was awesome. It's like putting together a puzzle and everything. And then on top of that, different camera angles, cutaways, cuts on action, and all these different techniques that were just so like fulfilling. And then I feel like I can definitely tell better stories now, and then I want to learn more in years to come, definitely.
All right, so speaking of some of the projects that you worked on specifically in this class, can you tell us more about the Student Studies, TICA project, Fall in New England, and the Orange project?
Oh, yes. I've got clips from each one of those, so once we show the clips, then I can go ahead and explain them as they come up. So,
walk me through them.
Yeah. Here's Student Studies, which was one of the first projects where we operated a camera. We learned things like cutaways, cuts on action, and for the time being, there's no zoom ins and outs, just cuts, and learn how to tell stories that way, which was definitely an experience doing it for the first time. But it was fun, definitely. Got to hoodwink my brother into doing the acting.
It's a good project to start with, and it's always fun to rope some of your family members in it.
Oh, that's for sure. And then here's the Cup of Tea, where we develop the skills that we learned in Student Studies, and then we get to learn more things. So you got cut on action here, and then I must always, and I had trouble with it during shooting this, like you must keep continuity, you must make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be, and then of course you have the no zoom ins yet, but they're going to be here soon, I promise you.
Yes.
Oh, here's nature, where this is where the zoom ins and outs and poor man's dissolves come in, and all the different new techniques that we got to learn on top of the techniques that we already know, the cutaways and everything. And then we bring it into Avid, get the head fades and tail fades, and then blending it all together is just great. And then the Orange Project, currently in production, is where we have total freedom. We create the scripts, storyboards, and everything, and we get to emphasize what we've learned throughout this course. So when it's done, I'm excited to show it off to the world, what I've learned in this awesome course.
Yeah, it really looks good. So that's a work in progress still.
Oh, yes, it's a work in progress, but it's looking to be pretty decent.
Yeah, it should finish up soon. So you've done quite a few projects in this course. What would you say was your best project?
I'm proud of all the things I've done. I gotta say that first, but definitely out of all of them, nature is definitely the one of my best projects. So that is my best project thus far. And then why don't we show a couple minutes of it, and then I'll talk more about it as we do that. So
let's take a look.
So with nature, again, we learned Poor Man's Dissolve, different techniques such as that, continuous zoom ins and outs, and then building off of the techniques that we've already learned, cuts on action, cutaways, and then this time gotta go out and get nice composition in nature, your S lines, lines of grace, your framing shots such as this one, but this one turns out to be a shift focus, also called a rack focus, but
okay.
It was really fun to do, and I felt like a real cameraman out in the field getting good footage and everything, so that was really fun to do. And I just had an interesting time getting all these awesome shots. It felt like the real deal.
Yeah, and it looks like you did a great job, and obviously it's a great time of year for filming in New England.
Oh, yeah.
So after all of that work you've done this semester, what are some of the most important skills that you've learned, and how do you plan to put them to use in the future?
Well, as I mentioned, what I wanted to learn, that I did learn, was how to create good composition using shots and different scenes of what my projects are going to be. But I also learned all these awesome, cool things like vectors and then headroom, tailroom, which I knew already, but I didn't know them specifically. Like, this is what you thought about. Like, I knew that that's how you make people look great in shots, but I didn't know how to explain it in a nice cinematography sort of way. So I've learned all that. Editing, I'm gonna use that probably forever. So that was also great to learn, and then I hope to use what I've learned, those and everything else I've learned in the course, to in the future create great animations and tell better stories visually that someday can touch people, and then hopefully someday you might go out with your friends and family and enjoy them in the movies, and then I can just thank Peter and Jen and Diane for everything that they taught me, and then I'm gonna definitely use it in the future to make myself better and then try to make the world a better place, maybe.
Well, I can't wait to see what you come up with. So today we got to meet someone who shared with us his passion for animation and storytelling. As a new director, he hopes to apply what he's learned here at NCC to create effective and overall better animations on his continuing journey. He also plans to use the new knowledge from the TV1 to create exciting and compelling stories that you can enjoy with your friends and family someday in the coming future. So I'd like to thank Tyler Frederick for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was awesome.
I learned a lot. We hope you enjoyed meeting one of television's future directors, and we will hope you continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you and have a great day.
This has been The New Directors with your host, Caitlin Cleary, directed by Wilson McLaurin. I'm your announcer, Daniel Smith. The New Directors is a Norwalk Community College student production.